Mercury. Mercury is the smallest planet in the Solar System. However, it is one of the densest planets. This high density is due to the presence of a core of enormous mass in the core of the planet. The total diameter of Mercury is 4,849 kilometers, about 38% of the diameter of the Earth. Mercury is one of the most mysterious planets in the Solar System. Less than half of its surface has been developed and mapped by scientists. Mercury is a planet known since ancient times. It is the planet closest to the Sun and one of the least studied, and recent space missions have allowed us to discover its secrets. Mercury differs from other planets in the difference in the temperature on its surface between the opposite side of the Sun and the dark side. On the opposite side of the Sun, the temperatures are more than 400 degrees Celsius, while in the dark half the temperature can reach about -200 degrees Celsius. The reason for all this difference is the absence of an atmosphere. The atmosphere would play the role of balancing temperatures and climate. It distributes the heat absorbed by the planet everywhere. Color image of Mercury, the smallest planet in the Solar System. Color image of Mercury. When was the planet Mercury known? Mercury is a planet that can be seen with the naked eye, and therefore it has been known since antiquity. The first evidence dates back to the 14th century BC, by the Assyrians. It can only be seen as a faint point of light immersed in the lights of dawn or dusk. Ancient astronomers recognized it as a planet because it was moving so fast relative to the Sun and the stars, but it took 1,000 years before someone, perhaps Pythagoras or Greek astronomers in the 4th century BC at the latest, realized that the planets we see in the morning and evening are the same planet. First studies. Due to the difficulties of observation, Mercury was for a long time unstudied. The first to attempt to map its surface in the late 19th century was Giovanni Schiaparelli. The Italian astronomer was also the first to postulate that the period of Mercury's revolution is equal to the period of its revolution around the Sun, just under 88 Earth days. Then the Greek astronomer Ignaeus Antoniadi continued to map the planet and in 1934 published the first detailed maps of its surface. But to start an in-depth knowledge about the morphology and internal structure of the planet, it was necessary to wait until the second half of the last century, as optical technologies developed from Earth, and then space missions followed. The first important discovery was to confirm the incorrectness of Giovanni Schiaparelli's belief. The period of the planet's revolution around itself was not equal to the period of its revolution around the Earth. This planet rotates around itself 3 times in every 2 revolutions around the Sun. Data collected in the early 1960s with Soviet and American radio observations confirmed that it takes 59 Earth days for the planet to rotate around itself, compared to about 88 Earth days to revolve around the Sun. The surface of the planet Mercury. The surface of Mercury has been well studied by modern imaging and observational techniques. The surface of this planet is not much different from the surface of the Moon, with cratered regions alternating with flat regions, indicating past volcanic activity, such as the activity that gave rise to lunar seas. On the other hand, the lack of an atmosphere results in the absence of erosion processes and surface properties can be preserved for billions of years. Mercury's surface also holds one of the largest craters in the Solar System relative to the size of the planet on which it is located, the Calauries Basin or Calauries Planitia, in an impact crater approximately 1,600 kilometers in size. For comparison, Mercury is less than 5,000 kilometers in diameter. This crater certainly arose from a collision with a large planet, probably about 3.8 billion years ago, the same era in which the lunar seas may have arisen. Color image of the Calauries Aquarium. Color image of the Calauries Aquarium. The impact from the collision was very violent. The crater walls rose to a height of nearly 2 kilometers above the surrounding land, and the impacts spread throughout the planet. On Mercury's surface there is also a rugged region called alien terrain. This region, which is characterized by an irregular ridge and small craters that differ from the rest of the planet's surface, is likely the result of seismic waves that spread over the planet's surface after the impact. Magnetic field. Many thought that Mercury's rotation was too slow to have a magnetic field, but the planet actually has a dipole magnetic field, which is caused by the effect of the motion of the iron-rich liquid core just like Earth. Although it is weaker in intensity, about 1% of Earth's magnetic field, Mercury's magnetic field can still divert the solar wind, which means forming a magnetosphere. What is in the center of the planet Mercury? It remains to be understood why the core is so large compared to the rest of the planet. Scientific missions. All we know about the planet we learned from observations from the planet, but 2 missions were sent to study Mercury, Mariner 10 inches and Messenger. The Mariner 10 probe, launched by NASA on November 3, 1973 to explore Venus and Mercury, thanks to 3 close-ups with the planet, made between 1974 and 1975, was able to provide us for the first time with detailed images of its surface. The mission was also able to detect the presence of the planet's magnetic field. Although the probe suffered a series of failures, it was able to complete its mission, making a series of records in space exploration, was in fact the first to discover Mercury, but was also the first to explore 2 planets simultaneously, Mercury and Venus, as well as using olfactory radiation pressure.